Hello and good noon, everyone. How's your preparation for TISSNET shaping up so far? Any issues, any concerns, any questions, anything that bothers you whatsoever? Anything that you want to discuss or talk about? So please make sure that you leave your comments in the chat, in the comment box down below, and I will of course go ahead and have a look at it. Now, this is the fourth such sessions where we have picked up previous year questions. And prior to that, of course, we've had some more sessions where we did not pick up previous year questions, but we did go ahead and talk about TISSNET and or the TISSNET type questions. So if you have any particular area that concerns you more, that bothers you more, do let me know, and we can of course dive into that. So I have picked up all the question varieties that have been asked in TISSNET over the years for this particular session, except for one question variety, and that is reading comprehension. So I assume that we've already had a lot of practice of RC. Moreover, the RC in TISSNET is also on the easier side. So I felt that, okay, you may not, even if I skip that part, it'll generally be okay for you. And before I start the session, by now, of course, you have learnt it by heart, but let's just go ahead and have a look at it. So TISSNET exam, 100-minute exam with 100 questions where you have +1 for every right answer choice, but there is no negative marking. And within this test, you would find 3 sections: English, Quant DILR, and General Awareness. 30, 30, and 40 is the distribution. There is no sectional time limit, which basically means that you can choose to start with whichever section that you want to. So my preferred order, it can be different from yours, is GK, and then English, and then QA, DI, and LR. So that's my preferred way of approaching these. Is there a sectional cutoff? Yes, but only for the general awareness section, where the college has basically told us that it is going to be 35% of the total marks, which translate to 14 marks roughly. So with that, let us go ahead and dive into our question. So Pranjul says, sessions of some high frequency words. Pranjul, we keep on doing that. In fact, on our app, we have a series planned where we are talking about high frequency words. But then when you are this close to the exam, if you're a CAT 22 aspirant who's writing all of these various exams this time around now, those sessions may not be very useful for you. However, if you're a CAT 23 aspirant, those sessions are absolutely great and very useful, very helpful for you. So let us go ahead and dive into our questions then. Ready? Just give me a shout out, just give me a quick thumbs up so that I know that you are ready and we can go ahead and move on with the question. Until then, you are on BYJU'S exam prep channel dedicated to the success of MBA aspirants. My name is Vikrant, 22 years of experience, coached thousands of students during these 22 years, and I am going to help you with the previous year TISSNET questions. And today, the question that I've picked up on an average, I mean, if I look at the last couple of years, the difficulty level is going to be a little higher than that for quite a few of those questions. So don't you worry about that. Okay, so here is the question on your screen. Let me take you through the directions quickly. Identify the correct sentence or sentences. So years and years ago, I mean, it's not a question variety that they have used in the recent past, but here are the 4 sentences. Some of these are one or more of these are correct, and your job is to select the ones which are correct. And your time for this particular question, okay, I'll start the timer in a little while. I understand that you would require a longer amount of time for this question, so let me give you a head start. Sonal is the only one who has told me that she is ready. The rest of you did not even tell me that you guys are ready. Okay, so your time starts now. I hope that you'd already started thinking. Okay. So Naman has shared one answer. Pranjul, is that in agreement with Naman or something else? D. All right. So first up, we were supposed to pick up the correct sentence or the correct sentences. So let's dive in. A. Organizational cultures take root in a myriad ways. Now that's a problem. Now there are times when we use myriad as a noun, in which case we put an A before it. But when you use an A before myriad, you're also supposed to use of. So a myriad of ways will mean a great number of ways. Okay. But then you can also use myriad as an adjective, in which case you'd simply say myriad, which basically means many ways. But in that case, you need to remove this A. So first sentence is definitely incorrect. If you want to correct it, there are two options. You can either insert this off and that corrects it, or the other way of fixing it is that you remove the A. So you can say organizational cultures take root in myriad ways. So you can remove that A as well. So first is definitely incorrect, which means that option A and D are ruled out for sure. So let us look at 2. Some are shaped by a forceful leader. That's correct. Nothing wrong with it. And I think even at this juncture, we can choose answer C. But then look at the next one nonetheless. Others take shape influenced by an industry, ethic, or a place. This is also correct. So yes, the answer has to be option C. Both sentence 2 and 3 are grammatically correct. How about 4? Yet others take place as a response to its environment. Look at the noun. We are using cultures, right? Which is plural. Yet others take place as a response to, or even you can look at this, others. So it should have been their environment. So yes, 4th is also grammatically incorrect. So if you've chosen C, which a lot of you have done, you've picked up the absolutely correct answer choice. And with that, let us dive into our next question. On your screen, the following sentence has been divided into 4 parts. One of these parts is a grammatical error. Mark that part as your answer. And because you are dealing with just one sentence, your time starts now. Okay, so we have 5 seconds to go at this moment. Okay. Sonal was off the bat rather quickly. So Pranjul, when you put an asterisk, it means that there is a bit of doubt, right? So young men and women do not seem to have a desire in sustaining their marriage. Oh, well, desire unfortunately is not followed by in, it is followed by to. So a desire to sustain. So this in sustaining is wrong, and that is why the correct answer is option C, which a lot of you have chosen. So that's fine. In case you have any issue with any of these other segments, any of these other parts, please mention that too. In that case, I can actually help you even more. So I saw part B. Part B is fine. Part C is also fine. Part D is also okay. Right? Here is the next one. Question 3, which is a question that tests your understanding of idioms or idiomatic expressions. So this question gives you 4 idioms. Okay, so you notice you have an idiom followed by a meaning. One of these pairs is correct, or in other words, one of these pairs gives you the idiom along with its correct meaning. That is the one that you're supposed to mark as your answer. And your time starts now. Naman, young men and women, plural nouns, and that too 2 nouns joined using and, the subject had to be plural. Okay, so your time starts now. Let's dive into this and see what you choose, what you mark as your answer. And our time is up. So let us look at the meanings of various idioms. So to begin with, to have a brush with the law. So it basically means a brief encounter with law enforcement or the legal system in general, especially an encounter which has the potential to have very serious or harmful ramifications. So for example, your dad is as straight as an arrow now, but did you know that he had a brush with the law when he was younger? He nearly went to prison. So that kind of. So if I say to have a brush with the law, to encounter or nearly encounter, if I add the law or legal system, then it becomes definitely right. So let's see. Okay, second is into the bargain. What does that mean? Into the bargain means in addition to the other facts mentioned. In addition to the other facts mentioned. For example, he's intelligent, he's funny, and he's an excellent cook into the bargain. When I say he's an excellent cook into the bargain, it's like saying in addition to the previously mentioned facts, he's also an excellent cook. So it definitely does not mean to do bargaining. For that matter, do we even have, what do we mean by to do bargaining? Anybody who can share the meaning with me? What do we mean by to do bargaining? Let's look at C, fall by the wayside. So if someone falls by the wayside, he or she fails to finish an activity, or that person stops doing it. So for example, I read this sentence in the coverage after the pandemic. The sentence was, so why does one company survive a recession while its competitors fall by the wayside? So that. And then finally, burden of proof is quite literal. So it's fall by the wayside definitely does not mean getting into something. It means stop getting into something actually. And then burden of proof is very literal. The responsibility of proving something is known as the burden of proof. So A versus D, which one should we choose? And do we have an expression that means to do bargaining? So we can definitely rule out B and C. A or D? So A does not mention the law. D does not mention the responsibility of proving something. So burden of proof basically talks about the responsibility, and because that key expression is missing from option D, we can rule it out. To have a brush with the law is to encounter or nearly encounter. Yes, if you add the law, that will be better, but at least the core is intact. We do use it idiomatically, right? To have a brush with something. So to that extent, I'd say that in this question, we should opt for option A over option D. And nobody has bothered to tell me whether to do bargaining exists as an expression or not. What do you mean by bargaining? Okay, let me simplify it. What do you mean by bargaining? What's bargaining? Come on, tell me fast. So a lot of people around me use this word bargaining to refer to a particular activity where you are talking to a shopkeeper and you are asking him to reduce the prices. Naman says Palika Bazaar wali bargaining. Palika Bazaar, Janpath, Sarojini, we have plenty of such places here in Delhi. A lot of people do this with the vegetable vendors. But then this meaning of bargaining, this use of bargaining is incorrect. When you ask a shopkeeper to reduce the prices, you are not bargaining, you are haggling. We don't use the word bargaining for that particular activity. A lot of people use it incorrectly. So the next time around when somebody uses it, don't stop him, let him use it, but do not use it when it comes to your everyday life. Okay, so for you moving forward, it is haggling. And I'm asking you not to correct others because people hate being corrected. And frankly, I've been teaching English for 22 years now. What I've realized is that you can either correct people's English or you can have good friends. And I've chosen to have good friends. I correct people's English only during their sessions because that's my responsibility. Only because you're my student. And once you're done with these exams, don't worry. I'll not be checking your grammar, checking your usage. Okay, it's only until then. Right. So next question, question number 4 on your screen, a fill in the blank question with 2 blanks thrown in. Let me put you under a bit of a time pressure. I'll give you a 5-second head start and then start the timer. There you go. Okay, 10 seconds to go. Okay. I noticed that a lot of you have chosen C as your answer. And that's actually correct too. Yes. So, I mean, if you look at the first blank, we definitely cannot put in view and anticipation. And then you do not produce a passion. You can produce something in others, not in yourself. So within yourself, you develop such things. So going by that, yes, C is an unambiguous choice. And all of you have managed to get this right. So that's wonderful. Here is the next question on your screen. And this time around, I'm just testing your understanding of synonyms, and your time starts now. Come on. 5 seconds to go. Okay, so let us start with the meanings of our words here, shall we? So what is the meaning of the word grotesque? Grotesque basically means strange and unpleasant. Okay, so for example, you know, some people who undergo a lot of cosmetic surgeries. So I met one such person. She had had so many cosmetic surgeries that she looked quite grotesque, strange and unpleasant. Then bulky can mean heavily built when we use it for people. Or bulky can also mean something that takes up a lot of space. Then you have murky. Murky would normally mean dark and dirty. Murky can also mean difficult to see through because it is dark and dirty. The murky dealings of corporate India are making news because of the disclosure by Hindenburg. Then what is cumbersome? Cumbersome is anything which is difficult to do, anything that takes a lot of time, lot of effort, that's called cumbersome. And weird, we know, weird is very strange and unusual. Something that is not natural, that's weird. So because we're looking for a synonym, you notice grotesque means strange, weird means strange. So we should go ahead and choose weird as our answer. Sonal, gloomy is sad, depressing. That other kind of dark, which is mental dark. So we don't use murky for gloomy in case that is what you were hinting at. So that's about question number 5. Naman, when you say dark and dirty and difficult to see through, is it unpleasant? I don't know. For example, when I use this, murky water, is that unpleasant? Murky water is a muddy water. It has a lot of dust in it, so it's difficult to see through. It's dirty, but then it is not something that you would find unpleasant if you encounter it in a river or something, right? So not necessarily unpleasant, not all the time. And then look at the kind of meaning that comes out of grotesque as well. So that is why I gave you that example. We don't use murky to talk about features of people, looks of people. But grotesque we do, weird we do. Grotesque talks more about the features of people, right? So move away from murky in that sense. But it is not that easy a question, don't worry. Okay, so the answer to the previous question was D. Question number 6 on your screen. This time around you're supposed to give me the antonym of fortitude. Mind you, antonym, and your time starts now. Hmm. Five seconds to go. Okay, so fortitude is what you require when you sit down and write the exams. Fortitude basically means mental toughness. Okay, then chivalry is the quality of being a gentleman, right? When you hold the door for a woman, when you offer the seat to a woman, those kind of things. The chivalry, ladies first. Eruption, you remember volcanic eruptions? The act of starting suddenly and violently is eruption. Then cowardice, I think most of us know what a coward is. So somebody who is not courageous, right? So that's cowardice. And then you have this word, it's pronounced chutzpah. It's not chutzpah. I actually used to pronounce it wrong. So I thought that maybe some others may also be doing it. So chutzpah or chutzpah. Okay, so chutzpah is the regular British English pronunciation. So chutzpah basically refers to behavior that is extremely confident and often rude. Okay, so if you have a lot of chutzpah, you have no respect for the opinions or abilities of anyone else. So for example, I wonder who had the chutzpah to disagree with him. The movie was made with very little money and a lot of chutzpah, a lot of confidence, bordering on arrogance. So basically, if I have to pick up an antonym from the given options, Naman, I will actually in that case pick up cowardice. Because see, fortitude is you're mentally tough, and people who are cowards, they are, in fact, call them lily-livered. They're mentally not tough. They are timid, dabbu, darpoke, kayar. So the best antonym for us is cowardice. So C, right? So chutzpah is a different word altogether. Chutzpah will be extremely confident and rude, and often rude, not always, but sometimes you're often rude. Okay, with that, let's dive into the next question. Question number 7 on your screen. You have an underlined part. You are supposed to look for the best replacement for the underlined part, and your time starts now. Oh, there are a couple of grammatical clues available as well. Okay, so do we even use hit up? No, hit up is a phrasal verb, but it is a phrasal verb which always has something in between hit and up. So we normally say to hit someone up. So to hit someone up is to ask someone for something. So for example, if I say she hit me up for a couple of thousand rupees, it basically means she asked me for a couple of thousand rupees. So this is definitely incorrect. Then hit on, okay. Now, when you hit on something, it basically means to think of an idea when in a rather unexpected, unintentional manner. So to think of or to come up with an idea when you did not expect to, especially an idea that solves the problem. But then here we are talking about a person. So to hit on someone basically means, and I think you know that already, it means to show someone that you are sexually attracted towards that person. To show someone that you're sexually attracted towards him or her. So when you hit on somebody at a party, that's what you mean. So it's definitely not a meaning that we need for this particular sentence. Hit back. Hit back is to attack or criticize somebody who has attacked you, somebody who has criticized you. So the minister hit back at the persons who tried to malign his reputation. Possible. Hit around. We don't have any such phrasal verb. And hit upon is basically just a formal version of hit on, and we've already established that we don't need that. So the best answer for us here is B. We'd go ahead and choose that, which is something that most of you have anyway managed to get right. Okay, in fact, why most? Most of you. Almost everyone. Okay. So here comes the next question on your screen. So in column A, the examiner has given you 4 different phrasal verbs. Or sorry, 4 different idioms. So after a fashion, fall in. I've just extracted it from the paper as it is. So fall in, then fall in with something, and then finally fall upon. So you are supposed to match these with these meanings given. This happens to be a TISSNET 2013 question, and I'm highlighting it for one specific reason. Your time starts now. Just do share your answers with me quickly in the chat box, and then we'll discuss it. Five seconds to go. I know I am pushing you a bit with this particular question. Where are the answers? Okay, so the answers are trickling in. Shall we start? Okay, then let's at least go ahead and look at the meanings. What do we mean by after a fashion? So after a fashion, oops, sorry, my bad. If you can do something after a fashion, it means that you can do it, but you cannot do it very well. You're just about okayish at it. For example, I can say that Rahul played the guitar and we all sang after a fashion. So when I say we all sang after a fashion, it means we did sing, but then we were not singing well. Okay, so do we have something that goes with this? I think out of the 4, B can definitely go with it. Then fall in. So fall in normally has two meanings. If the roof or the ceiling falls in, it means that it drops to the ground. And then we also use fall in for soldiers. If soldiers fall in, then it means that they form a line or that they move in a line, one behind the other. And that is consistent with A. Okay, then you have fall in with something. Fall in with something basically means to accept and support a plan, or to accept or support a suggestion. For example, it seemed like a good idea, so we just fell in with it. Right? So it definitely goes with D. And then you finally have fall upon. Now, if you fall upon someone, now listen to this carefully. Fall upon someone means to attack someone suddenly and unexpectedly. Do you see this meaning anywhere? I don't. Now, it has another meaning. If you fall upon something, it means that your eyes move towards that thing and then you notice it. Do you see that meaning either? I don't. So, unfortunately, we do not have the correct meaning of fall upon available here, but we do have meanings of the other three. So, 1B, so option A and C is ruled out. 2 should be A, so option B is also ruled out. And then 3 is D, but then 4th, this part is incorrect. Despite that, we'll pick up D as our best answer choice. Examiners normally do not make this mistake, but these things do at times happen. Okay, they normally don't make this mistake, but these things at times happen. But as you can see, D gives you the correct meanings of the other three. It does not give you the correct meaning of 4th. In fact, no answer choice gives you the correct meaning of 4th because it is not even available. Okay, so D it is. So any issues, anything that you want to talk a little more about here? So this question tripped a lot of people, but I hope now you know the meanings, especially after a fashion is used very, very commonly in writings, in movies, in series, etc. If we could do that, we could have at least ruled out A and C. But yes, I absolutely agree with you, Naman. This was a fairly challenging question. 3 idioms / phrasal verbs that use fall and then along with after a fashion. Toughy, yes. Okay, here comes the next one. Question number 9. Another fill in the blank for you and your time starts now. Shivangi, in TISSNET, absolutely yes, you should do that because there is no negative marking. So when you step out of the examination hall, you would obviously have attempted all the 100 questions, irrespective of whether you know them or not. Okay, so coming back to this, I need something that suggests that an investigation was taken up. Now, does a study mean investigation? No. Does analysis mean investigation? No. What is an inquest? Inquest is a judicial investigation. So that is the problem here. Now, if I use inquest, inquest already has the word judicial. So the judicial inquest will mean a judicial investigation. You already have judicial before the blank, so that will make it redundant. So if I put in inquest, it will become a redundancy. Remember, redundancy is where you use unnecessary words. You've already used a word or an expression that means the same thing. So that's redundancy. For example, have you noticed people asking for ATM machine? That's a redundancy because this M also stands for machine. Or have you seen people using this, and I'm sure you have, I don't even need to ask this. Have you heard of this expression, free gift? Yeah, but then hang on. What is a gift? Isn't a gift always free? If you pay for something, it is not a gift. So free gift is a redundancy. Similarly, judicial inquest will be a redundancy and therefore you can remove it. Probe does mean investigation. One of the meanings of probe is investigation, right? An attempt to discover information by asking a lot of questions is probe, sort of investigation. So we can pick up D as an answer to this particular question. And that's okay, Naman. And even if you're getting these wrong, it's all right. Yeah, getting these wrong is better because you're getting these wrong here with me. You're not in the examination hall. So every mistake that we make during a preparation increases the chances of getting the actual questions right. As they say, the more you sweat in practice, the less you bleed in battle. So let's just micro Shubham. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have a 20-day strategy for you. I mean, if you do learn some words, you can definitely learn around 300-400 new words in 20 days. So whatever you've been doing for vocabulary, you should continue doing that rather, is what I'd advise. Go through a word list, use root words, whatever works for you. And here comes your next question. This is going to be a critical reasoning question. So I'm giving you the paragraph along with the question stem here on this screen. Okay. The paragraph will be available on the next slide as well, but the font size is going to be rather small. So I want you to read it thoroughly here so that even when the font size is small, you won't have any difficulty in referring to the paragraph. So please read it quickly and then we'll move on. Abhiram, there is no sectional cutoff in TISSNET. You just need to target an overall cutoff. There is a sectional cutoff, but only for general awareness section. So make sure that you definitely get a 14 odd marks from there, and then from the rest of the paper, whatever you get. Okay, so here is the question for you. Please go ahead and share the answer with me. Thank you for the input, Naman, Zenifa. That helped me a lot. Thank you. So which one of the given four weakens the conclusion? Abhiram, sure? So C says the company has resorted to a different type of costing after it changed the telecast timings of the commercials. What do we even mean by that? Okay, and if you move to a different type of costing, on your balance sheet, your cost has increased or decreased. We do not even know that. And what does it do to the conclusion? The conclusion is continue to telecast the commercials during prime time, even though it is costlier. There's no bearing on that. So we can rule out C. Okay, A does not weaken it. In fact, if anything, it will strengthen it. It tells you that you are earning more revenue than the cost. So you are incurring additional cost. That additional cost is leading to additional revenues, and we are saying that the revenues are higher. Okay, marginally higher, but higher nonetheless. So you're still being more profitable. So that strengthens. Definitely does not weaken. We can rule it out. B, nothing to do with the argument. D, on the other hand, presents one more factor that could have helped increase their sales. It's just that both of these things were a coincidence, and they thought that it is the advertisement which has led to the results. So if D is true, that definitely weakens it. It tells us that it was the closing down of the competitor and not the advertising slot that led to the spurt or the increase. So if you've chosen D, which I think almost everybody has done, that's absolutely correct. So we do get a couple of critical reasoning questions in the exam as well, so don't be shocked about these. In fact, you may get one logical reasoning question in the English section too, so be mentally ready for that. Here is the next one. Fill in the blank. So we know that we get a lot of fill in the blanks. So what's your take on this? And your time starts now. Five seconds to go. And your time is up. So I think there is one answer that I can definitely eliminate straight away, and that is option D. Why? Right before the blank we have a, whereas D requires an erratic situation. Right? So it definitely cannot be D. Can it be volatile? Yes. Okay, now mercurial. Mercurial basically is an adjective that is used for persons, right? A mercurial person is whose mood changes rather suddenly and unexpectedly. We don't use it for situations, so you can eliminate it. Same goes with capricious. Capricious is used for persons. Capricious can also be used for weather. So capricious also means unaccountable change in the mood or behavior, or a sudden change in the weather, etc. So we don't use it for situations, so even C will be eliminated. A is the right answer choice here. So this is a question which tests our understanding of an aspect of vocabulary called collocation. Collocation is whether two words are used together or not by the native speakers. So mercurial and capricious, anybody who's good at collocation, anybody who uses English in his day-to-day life could have figured that out rather easily. And between A and D, we had this grammar-based clue available to narrow it down to the right answer choice. You cannot use A before erratic, right? It has to be an. Next question. So a sentence with a part underlined, you're supposed to look for the correct replacement. And your time starts now. Oh, Muskan, that's quick. That's super quick. I don't know whether that's right or not, but quick, yes. Naman, yes, we can use erratic for situations. Okay, so what do we mean by cast him away? When you cast someone, when someone is cast away, then it means that the person is stranded after a shipwreck. There is a very famous movie by the same name. We have no phrasal verb that says cast him up or cast him in. So cast up and cast in are not phrasal verbs. What about the other two? Cast him about. Cast him about basically means to search far and wide. दूर दूर तक ढूंढना, खोजना. Cast him down, on the other hand, means to be depressed, to be low. And he was so optimistic that he did not let the situations situations bog him down, depress him. So yes, the best answer for us is C. So A and D do not exist. B does not make any sense in this situation. That automatically leaves you with C. So C it is. Next one on your screen. So what's your take? Grammar, a sentence divided into 4 parts. Your job is to choose or identify the part with an error. And your time starts now. Ooh, this is very subtle. Let me give you a hint. Something to do with nouns. Should I start? I haven't received any answer yet. Okay, so the answers are now coming. B. No error. A. Okay, so let's see. Do you know that A is used only before singular countable nouns? But then look at what comes after. A personal phenomena. That's plural. And that is why it is incorrect. So you needed the singular noun. So instead of using phenomena, what we require here is phenomenon. So psychological theories treat magic as a personal phenomenon intended to meet individual needs as opposed to social needs serving a collective purpose. The rest of the sentence is fine, but this is where the problem was. Remember another such noun. You have criterion, criteria, phenomenon, phenomena, datum, data, medium, media. So all of those, I think in one of my previous sessions, I did talk about these questions that are created using this concept called irregular plural forms. So that's something that this question tested us on. Here is your next question on the screen. Another fill in the blank, and your time starts now. Yeah, absolutely, Naman. Bacterium, bacteria. There are plenty of such examples. Yeah, I think we can, if you say talking about, I can rattle off 40, 50 of them from memory. Ten seconds. Okay, so apart from having good dash skills, the speaker had a dash voice, which made the people listen to him with rapt attention. So can I say that I need a positive word here? So you notice, if I just look at the second blank, sonorous is a positive word. Sonorous means having a deep, pleasant sound. So that's positive, can go. Gruff, gruff is a negative word. Gruff means, when you use it for voice, it means low and unfriendly. So imagine if I meet you and say something like, no, like this session or else I'll come and find you. But on a serious note, do like the session. Don't make me come and find you. That's gruff. So that's negative. So we can eliminate it. Squeaky is again negative. Remember, squeaky is high-pitched sound. Squeaky is the way a mouse talks. Remember, squeak like a mouse. Squeak, squeak. So making a very high-pitched sound is not very attractive, is not very pleasant. So you can rule it out. Deep, yeah, deep can go. Deep voice is positive. So we can rule out B and C on the basis of the second blank. In the first blank, you do have something called good oratory skills. Do you have good preaching skills? Preachers require good oratory skills. If you are a good preacher, it means you have good oratory skills. Preaching is delivering a religious lecture, right? So preaching won't go in the first blank. So we can eliminate that, and that helps us arrive at A as our answer. नमन क्यों करवा रहा यार ऐसे भाई कितनी मेहनत करवाएगा. But तूने like कर दिया ना. I hope you liked the session. That required a lot of effort, huh? And that's okay. Questions right or wrong, it keeps on happening. Yeah, it's okay. What matters is looking at the logical process in which we should go ahead and attempt these questions. Yeah. Okay, here is the next one for you on your screen. Question number 15. Fill in the blanks and your time starts now. It's an easy question if you eliminate. Use the second blank. Let's see what you choose this time around. Others, just try and see if we can eliminate. Of course, there is no substitute for vocabulary, but you can still make some intelligent guesses. For example, in this one, you notice, if somebody is ostracized, it basically means that he has been socially boycotted. So, socially boycott कर दिया तो ostracize हो गया. So, when it comes to ostracize and exile, others do it to you. Others do it to you. You don't choose it. You don't willingly. Others do it for you. You don't do it yourself. And which basically means that we can eliminate ostracized and exiled. So A and B are gone. Banished, again, banished is others do it, right? If you're banished from college, if you're banished from our house, if you're banished from a society, the society has chosen to boycott you. So even banished can't go in the second blank. Isolated is the only word that makes sense in the second blank, and that is why our answer has to be C. आदर्श आइसोलेटेड का मीनिंग पता था. ओके ओके ओके, वो तो यार धीरे धीरे करता रहे, वोकैबुलरी हो जाएगी. वोकैबुलरी आसान है, ये सिर्फ रेगुलरिटी मांगती है. इट्स लाइक फिटनेस. आसान है, लोग कंसिस्टेंट नहीं होते, रेगुलर नहीं होते, इसलिए मुश्किल होती है. वैसे मुश्किल थोड़े ना है. Okay, and now let us dive into two para-jumble questions. So on your screen, you have a para-jumble question now. And in TISSNET, you don't get these as non-MCQs. You do get these answer choices, okay? So use the options to solve this para-jumble. And the moment I receive 5 answers, I will start the discussion. So what's your take on this para-jumble? Come on, come on, come on. Share karo yaar. I'm itching to discuss. Okay, so Naman has given his answer. 2, 3, 4. One more. Give me one more. Okay, so we have these answers. So let's check. So you notice I look at sentence D and it says furthermore, the digital divide in education encourages the dependence syndrome. So right, furthermore shows continuation of idea. So I need to have another sentence that talks about digital divide, and that sentence is sentence A. Right. So I need to have A plus D. Moreover, look at B. B also has also. This also talks about digital divide. But then this suddenly talks about developing countries, whereas A talks about underdeveloped. Right. So you need to have A, D, and then B coming after. And if I see that option is available only in A, and therefore we'd go ahead and choose A. Some of us have also chosen D, but then you notice CE should not be put afterwards, especially E. Look at E. Education should be liberating and is often seen as a standardizing factor in life. This is a general statement. Where do general statements go? So if you have some sentences that give you a particular idea in great detail, and then you have this one sentence which gives you the same idea but in a very generic, general, broad terms, then the general sentence should come before. Can it come after? Yes, there are two situations where it is framed as a conclusion or where it is framed as a reiteration, but for the rest of the situations, it should come before. So E is not framed as a conclusion. It is not framed as a reiteration, so E should not come after. That in fact helps us rule out C and D. Okay, so keep practicing these questions. This is easy to get. I mean, by the time you appear for this exam, you can easily become an expert of parajumbles, and make sure that you bring in that mental change where you start using the options to make the process a lot faster. Here is the next parajumble on the screen, but there is a difference this time around. So the opening sentence is given to you. So the opening sentence is fixed. It is only the subsequent 5 that you need to go ahead and arrange. So take your time. And once again, the moment I get the 5 answers in the chat, I will start the discussion. So come on, just try to be one of the first 5. Come on, let's see who rolls it. Who gives the answer first? Okay. So Naman, Shivangi, Apurva and Pranjul have shared their answers. And now we have Aditya as well, closely followed by a lot of other people. Now, let's look at something. Let me focus your attention on sentence E. They even fed it to their slaves to give them more strength to build the pyramids. Where were the pyramids built? So notice Egyptians. So you know that B plus E must be a mandatory pair. Then look at C. The Israeli slaves, when fleeing the Egyptians for the promised land, complained of not having garlic. Need to have this afterwards. And that's because E talks about the pyramids and slaves. Right. So you need to have BEC, and BEC is available only in option A. And then another clue, later the Greeks. So you know that A must come after B. And these 3 sentences, okay, B, C, E definitely need to be together. A should come after. So that helps you rule out option D anyway. And then if you look at sentence D, says it still thrives today. So you notice we are using a chronology. So you're talking about the ancient Egyptians, then the Greeks, and then the present. So if I broadly define, that's the sequence that we can, the chronological sequence that we can follow to arrive at our answer. So whichever way you look at it, you would land up with option A. Okay. So that's about the practice questions. And you remember Kobe Bryant? He passed away 3 years ago. This is fabulous, fabulous quote from him. There are a lot of fabulous quotes from him. It's just one of them. Dedication sees dreams come true. So make sure that you remain dedicated. And those of you who are wondering how to prepare, how to work on vocabulary, what's the right approach? If you're aiming at next year, do join our CAT 23 program. It's one of the most exhaustive courses that you'd see. You know what makes it most exhaustive? Look at this part. 300 recorded lectures. And then on top of that, see this? 135 hours of live sessions. And then apart from it, of course, you have everything else. 75 mocks, more than 10,000 practice questions, study notes, previous papers. And then, of course, all of us who you meet at this channel, we are always there to support you. And the new batch is available. You can use the link given in the chat, the pinned link, the pinned comment, and join this. And to make it easy, to make it more mouth-watering, tantalizing, tempting to you, you can also appear for the scholarship test where you can get up to 90% off. Okay, so do that. And I am taking a session at 7 p.m. today on our app. It is not on the YouTube channel, it is on our app. So if you have BYJU'S Exam Prep app, you can attend it. If you do not have this app, download it and attend it. I am going to give you a very, very detailed strategy to prepare for VARC. There'll be absolutely nothing left to chance. Some of you may even find it an overkill, but then when you start preparation, you would realize that, oh, what to do now? And then it will come to your mind, oh, Vikrant has already taken care of it. He told me what to do, right? So do that too. And the All India Open Mock for CMAT is still going on. Make sure that you write it at the earliest. Today is the second last day of it. And we are wherever you are. So make sure that you follow us on the different platforms. And you can also ask us questions elsewhere. So before you go, I'd once again like to remind you that, do like, share and subscribe. And I will meet you at 7 p.m. today. And thereafter, of course, at this very place, at this very channel, pretty soon. Until then, have a great day. Stay safe. Stay